Hello everyone and welcome to this session of programming with Java. So in this session we will continue our discussion on the different control flow statement in the Java programming language, in which we have already saw the conditional statement and the iterative statement, and in this session we will see the Java jump statements. Now jump statements are basically used to change the normal execution or flow of any loop. Now there are basically three types of jump statement that Java provides us, namely break, continue and return. So in this session we will see how we perform the break jump statement in Java and how can we use it to disrupt the flow or execution of any loop. Now to understand the break, we have to understand the different application in which we use it. Now there are basically three different applications of break in Java. The first one, which we have already discussed, is its usage with the switch statement. Now if you remember our conditional statement, there we discussed that how can we use the switch statement instead of the if-else ladder to perform the conditional statement or conditional execution of a program when there are multiple conditions. The second application of using the break statement is for exiting a loop, which we will discuss here, and the third application of using the break statement is using it as a civilized form of a goto function. Now Java doesn't provide us goto function, so we can use the break statement as a goto function in Java. So to understand the break statement for exiting a loop, let's take an example of a for loop. So let's say we have to print a number from 1 to 20. So for that purpose, what will we do is we will first use the for keyword followed by a I variable which will start from 0. Afterward, so we have initialized our loop control variable. Afterward, we will write the condition, that is I should be less than 21 because we want to print the numbers from 1 to 20, and our iteration will be that every time our loop will be executed, then after the execution of the body of the loop, we will iterate or increment our loop control variable with a value of 1. So we will write I++. Now we will define the body of the loop. For that purpose we will use the curly braces. Now within the curly braces we will use the println function defined within the system class. So we will write system dot out dot println, and within the println we will write the name of the variable, which is I in our case, and afterward we will put semicolon in the end, and if we will run this, then we will get 1 to 20 in our output. So as you can clearly see, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 20. So this is the general execution of a loop which is printing a numbers from 1 to 20. Suppose that we want to disrupt this normal flow of execution based on certain condition. So for example, let's say we want to terminate our loop if anywhere between 1 to 20 we encounter a number which is, let's say, 7. Now 7 is a number between 1 to 20, we already know it, and we want to terminate our loop even when the condition is already there that the loop will be run for a 20 steps or 21 steps since I starts from the 0. But even when the condition is clearly defined that it will start from 0, it will terminate at 21 and it will increment at every step by a value of 1, it should get terminated if anywhere I becomes 7. So this is like an example of terminating or controlling or changing the normal execution or flow of our loop. So we can do that by using the break statement. So first, let's say we will define a condition that if I becomes 7 at any point, then just say that system dot out dot print ln, and it will say that 7 is reached, and it will then just break out of the statement. And if I is not there, then the general execution of our loop will be to print the value of I, that is system.out.println I. So now if we run the same program again, then we will get in our output 1 2 3 4 5 6, and as 7 will be there, we will get an output that 7 is reached and our program will be executed. This happens because when I is equals to 1 to 6, that is I is not 1 equals to 7, then our program just skip this if condition and which consists the break condition, and just move on to the statement defined within this else keyword, that is system.out.println I, that is I will be printed on the screen. So that's why we are getting the numbers from 1 to 6. But as soon as we reach the value of 7, then this condition becomes true, so the code defined within this if conditional statement will be executed, that is system.out.println 7 is reached, so we get an output of 7 is reached. And soon after 7 is reached, we use the break statement to exit from the enclosing loop. Now enclosing loop is this for loop. As you can clearly see, this is only one loop, and that is this for loop. So our pointer or our compiler will exit from this loop because break is used here. So this is how we perform the break statement or use the break statement to exit from any given loop. Now the another method in which we can use the break is using it as a civilized form of a goto statement. The general syntax of using break as a goto is first we write the name of the break keyword followed by the name of the block. Now to understand how do we name a block, let's head over to Eclipse IDE. So let's remove first all of this, and we already know that to define any block we use the curly braces, that is we write opening and closing curly braces, and this whatever we will write here, like different kinds of statement like statement 1 or statement 2 or statement 3. Let me make this a multi-line statement, so I will write asterisk forward slash and asterisk forward slash asterisk, sorry. So now we have created a block in which we have defined the different types of statement, or statement 1 or statement 2 and statement 3. Now to name this block, we just write the name of the block, let's say my block, and afterward we will use the colon sign. Now we have created a block which has a label or which has a name of my block. So this is how we create a named block in Java. Now the goto statement or the break statement can be used as a form of a goto statement in Java. So for example, let's create multiple blocks with a different name. Let's say we have a block called first, so we will write first followed by the colon sign followed by the open and close curly braces, and within this first block we defined another block or nest another block, let's say second, and after it we will use the semicolon sign and we will use the curly braces to define the body of that block. Afterward, let's say we have another block within this third block, that is it is a 3-level nesting. So we will again use the third name followed by the colon sign, and within colon sign afterward we will define a block, and within this we define a statement that system dot out dot println we are at third block. Now let's say at certain point of time we want to move our pointer or our controller which is controlling this all of these block to move after the end of second block, that is exit this exit this third block and move at the end of second block. So for that purpose we can use the break statement. So if you remember the syntax, we first use the break keyword followed by the name of the block or the name of the label. So what we will do is we will use the break keyword followed by the name of our block to which we want to go. That is, we are using break as a go to statement. Now we want to go at the end of second block, so we will write break second, because if you remember, the break statement exits from the enclosing loop, so it will exit from the enclosing label we are using here. So it will exit from the second label or the second block. So if we will write break second followed by the semicolon sign, then our controller will move at the end of the second block. So if this is the end of the second block, and we will write that system.out.println I reached the end of second, and let's add another statement after break second so that you can clearly see that how this operations is performed. That system.out.println you won't see me on screen. See me on screen. And we should terminate all of this statement. And if we will run this, we have some kind of error. Okay, we need to make this break statement conditional, so we will define a boolean value, that is boolean, let's say a, and if a is going to be true, then only break second will get executed. So let's make it a true, and afterward let's define it here that if a, then only break second. So now we have removed this error, because in the first case because we were using the break second without any other condition, so the pointer was not able to move past it and it was giving the error. So we have defined this, and now if we run it again, then as you can see that we are getting an output. We are at third block because our pointer will move through the program, then it will reach the first statement, that is system.out.println we are at third block, so we are third block in the output. Afterward it will see that if a and break second. Now a is already defined at a true condition, so this condition became a true, so this statement will be executed. So break second will be executed and our pointer will go at the end of the second loop, that is here, that is system.out.println I reach the end of second. So we are getting I reach the end of second in our output, and this statement, that is system.out.println you won't see me on screen, we are not getting that on screen. And if we make this a value false and run it again, then we will get output that we are at third block, you won't see me on screen, I reach the end of second, because now this condition has become false, so this break second will never get executed, and this is system.out.println you won't see me on screen will get executed, and so as the system.out.println I reach the end of second. So this is how we perform the break statement as the go-to statements in Java. So that's all for this session. In the next session we will see another jump statement, namely continue, and how do we use that in Java programming language. Till then, keep learning. Thank you.